Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel, Simply Michelle, with yours truly, Michelle. If you are new and stopping by to my channel for the first time, I hope that you would decide to stay and subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate that. And if you are returning, thank you so much for the love and support. I appreciate that as well. Whew, all right, y'all. Let's get into this. Now, this is something that came as a shocker to me. I was not expecting this at all, but here we go, y'all. All right, so Candy Burris and Todd Tucker have split after 11 years of marriage. At first, I could not believe this. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this did show up on my feed. I think Tasha K might have reported on it or something like that, but I really didn't pay too much attention to it. I kind of kept scrolling, but as more outlets started to confirm that they are, getting a divorce, I was like, okay, I gotta I gotta look into this and see what's going on here. Um so let's jump right in to this, y'all, because I am just at a loss for words here. Mm-mm-mm. Lord have mercy. So, the Shade Room is reporting that Candy Burris and Todd Tucker are ending their marriage after 11 years together. So it says, after deep thought and a lot of prayer, I've made the decision to move forward with the divorce. This is a difficult and emotional time, but my focus remains on protecting my peace, being the best mother I can be, and co parenting with love and respect. Burris tells People in an exclusive statement. I'm stepping into a new chapter, pouring into my work, my family, and my own growth. I'm grateful to everyone who supported us throughout the years, and I ask for privacy, grace, and understanding as we navigate this transition with our family. Oh my gosh, I was not expecting this at all. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. The first thing that came to mind in regards to this divorce was two things. Okay. And I just want to make it clear here that anything that is said um is allegedly, okay? Is allegedly. But anyway, the first thing that came to my mind, I'm not gonna lie, was Mama Joyce. Okay. Because we all know how she felt about Candy getting married to Todd in the first place. We all know that she was very vocal about her dislike for Todd, and she felt like Todd was an opportunist. So, she was not happy with that marriage. Um, and to be honest with y'all, I'm not even gonna lie, that was another reason why I really wanted it to, continue to work out. Cause she was just so negative towards it. Like, I do understand that that is Candy's mom. And, as a mom, you want to protect your kids, and you want to make sure that people who your kids get involved with, you want to make sure that they always have your kids best interest. And you also want to make sure that no one is coming in to take advantage of your child. But and at, I do kind of get where Mama Joyce was coming from in the beginning, because for those of you who are um RHOA fans, especially of the early seasons of Real Housewives of Atlanta, when it was just on and popping, like when it was in its prime. I know y'all remember when Candy first came on. Candy did briefly talk about her previous relationships. And honestly, Candy did not have the best judgment when it came to her previous relationship. So, in a sense, I did understand as to why Mama Joyce felt like, when Todd came on the scene, that Todd would probably be after, Candy's money or whatever. But Todd was a little different from what Candy was, used to dating and going out with. All of this is things that was mentioned on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So if you're not someone that's really a fan of the show or watched the show, especially in the earlier seasons, then a lot of this you probably won't know what I'm talking about. Um, but yeah, she did briefly touch on her, her dating history and things like that, and it was not the best. Um, Todd turned out to be like one of the most, solid, stable picks. But at the same time, hey, we are on the outside looking in. We do not know the ins and outs of one's, marriage, and what goes on in someone's home beside behind the scenes. Um, The other thing that came to my mind too was her not um giving Todd enough of her time and attention. And the reason why I'm saying this is because Candy is a boss. Most definitely. She is a boss. And that's what I love about Candy. I love her work ethic. I love that she's a boss. She's an entrepreneur. She's self-made. She gonna make that money. But you do have to be able to like balance things out. There does need to be a balance. And men are guilty of this as well. Um Actually, you have more men that are guilty of this than women are, but on the seasons of RHOA before Candy, made her exit. Todd did mention that he wanted to spend time with Candy, and Candy's like always busy, always into something. She did the Broadway play, and Candy has all her other passion projects and money makers and stuff that she gets involved in and that she likes to do. And you know, so there until more information comes out, more details in regards to like why they actually got a divorce, because I also felt like it could have been like a mutual agreement amongst the two of them. It also could be something like that as well. But there are definitely a lot of different opinions circulating around what people feel like could have possibly caused the divorce to come about. Um, but let's hop into these comments here and see what people have to say about this. So, someone says it seemed like Todd and Candy were really solid. Definitely didn't see this one coming. I did not either. Someone else says Mama Joy's putting something on the grill right now. Child, let me tell you something. Who, Lord, I respect other people's, mothers, but everybody, mama, mm, I do feel like she's a piece of the problem. I'm not blaming it on her. Candy and Todd, they are adults, but I do feel like Mama Joyce is could be a part of the reason why. Because I know she probably did not let up off of Todd, because she expressed how she did not like Todd, and I believe she kept that same energy. She just had to deal with it to a certain extent, though, especially when Candy and Todd started having kids. It was only but so much that she could say or do, but still, she was still expressing how she didn't care for him. Okay, so someone else says, somehow I am actually shocked at this. And then someone else says, I just know this was a scheme set up by Todd. Sending love. And for those of you who watch RHOA, if you know, the scene from one of the episodes of Real Housewives of Atlanta where Kandi was talking to her mom and her aunts, and something had went down with Todd, and one of her aunts was saying that it was a scheme set up by Todd. I have seen a lot of people using that little punchline lately since this has, sparked rumors or whatever. Someone else says this was not on my 2025 bingo card. It wasn't on mine's either, and I don't even play bingo. Okay. Somebody else says this is one couple I wanted to see win. Me too, absolutely. I definitely wanted to see them win. So it was disappointing to find out that they were getting divorced. So another outlet that I came across called the Bravo Shade Room. They touched on Kandi and Todd's divorce as well. And they just basically, shared, just laid the foundation of how Kandi and Todd, met. It says Burris 49 and her producer husband Tucker 52 met while filming the fourth season of The Real Housewives of Atlanta in 2011 and announced their engagement in January 2013. They tied the knot the following year in April. So yeah, and see, Todd was a producer on the show. I remember that very well. Um, and how Todd came on the scene and how he came about. And yeah, he was a producer on the show Real Housewives of Atlanta. All right, and somebody says, I hate this for them. Someone else says we need Andy in the camera. I totally agree, 100%. Someone else says, stop inviting people into your bedrooms. I see it destroys couples over and over. This, this. And for those of you who may not know what this commenter is alluding to, um, Kandi is another one of those celebrity couples who has openly shared that, she's had threesomes with her husband. Um, and for the life of me, I cannot understand why you have people who are married who are inviting people into like their bedroom. It's just crazy to me. There are so many different ways that you can kick it up a notch. You can make it spicy. Like you can keep it fun. It's so many different ways that you can still keep it fun, keep it sexy, keep it spicy without having to invite another person like in your bedroom. That is just so crazy. And this is another speculation that I saw floating around too as well. The threesomes. Kandi spoke about this on her show Candy Coated Nights. I don't know if she still does Candy Coated Nights anymore or not, but on Candy Coated Nights, Kandi was just like very open and very candid about her sexual, journey, preferences, how she likes things. It was an adult show, adult, content or whatever, just the adult discussions and whatnot. But I don't know why some people think this is cool. Some people think it's sexy. I don't know. Some people feel like, oh, this is exploring your sexual feminine energy, independence, whatever. I do not know. But it is a recipe for disaster. And excuse me, y'all. Kandi is not the only one who has. So I remember when Paula Patton and Robin Thicke got a divorce because they were having threesomes in the bedroom. And Robin Thicke, you know, decided that he would tiptoe over to the third parties, you know, and have sex with them every now and again, when he wanted something other than Paula. I mean Paula. And that's how they ended up getting a divorce. And it's so crazy to me, like how people do that. Tiana Taylor and Iman Shumpert, they are another couple who invited a third person into the bedroom and trying to keep it spicy, trying to keep it sexy, trying to spice it up and trying to add variety. And it's like, mm-mm, mm-mm. All of these marriages where you're inviting extra people into your marriage and into your relationship, it just, like they said, it doesn't work out. Now, this does not have to be the reason why, because, let me say this again. The reason as to why they have gotten divorced, those details have not come out yet. But I do feel like over time, more information will, more than likely resurface as to, why they have, gotten a divorce. But this is another one of those things that's circulating, and, people are speculating as to, why this could be happening. Um, so someone else says, I hope they work it out. Eva and her husband got back together. Nene and Greg got back together. So it's possible. I do hope that Kandi and Todd are able to work out their differences and come back together. I really do. Someone else said, this made me sad. I really love them together. Someone else says, how the hell did Todd fumble her? She gave him business, babies, and threesomes. Someone says everything but time. And see, that goes back to what I was saying earlier when Todd was on TV saying that um Kandi is always busy, and it just she don't have no time. Like, she don't got no time for her man. And as I was, looking into this situation with Kandi and Todd, I also saw, a few people mention that their marriage seemed more like business than an actual relationship. And I kind of get those vibes too. I can see how one would look at Kandi and Todd's marriage and just say, oh, this is just business, because of the way that it kind of, played out and stuff. Um, yeah. But someone else says her mom made it hard for him. Once again, for those people who don't feel like Mama Joyce really played a part in anything, that's on you. I feel differently. Argue with your mammy. I'm not saying that Mama Joyce is the whole entire reason why they got a divorce, but I do feel like she definitely, added to it. Okay, she definitely added to it. With her little antics and things that she would say and do, stuff like that. So somebody else says, laugh out loud. When people have an open marriage, it's not sacred and special. So yeah, that goes back to opening your marriage up to everybody. Someone says you can't invite the devil into your bedroom. I hate this. Absolutely. So as you can see, some people are speculating that some people feel like it's Mama Choice. Some people feel like it's, that Kandi wasn't giving Todd enough time. Some people feel like it's the fact that Kandi put her personal business in regards to her bedroom, and the fact that she opened her marital bedroom up to additional people, as to why the marriage is dissolving. And so I just want to remind everyone, if you are new here, the way this works is this is not just me sharing this information to gossip, but the whole purpose of my channel is we look at these situations and we see what we can learn from this. What is it that we can take away from this, that we can learn from this situation, so we can, apply it to our personal lives and do better in our personal lives. So basically, we're just talking about certain subjects, and we're having discussions on that, and it's basically just hoping to bring awareness. And if you have ever been in a situation like this, or if you have ever been the person at fault for something, forgive yourself, give yourself grace. It's like, what have you learned from the situation? personally yourself, and just being able to make peace with that fact and move on. So every time there is a new video popping up, it's what we can learn from it. So that's the takeaway in all of these videos here. What can we learn from this? What is it that we need to see? What is it that we need to be aware of? Okay, so let's get back to it. Someone else says this, and she better be careful because he can end up doing her like Jason did Bethany from Real Housewives of New York. Somebody drop down in the comments and tell me how Jason did Bethany from Real Housewives of New York, because I was not a fan of that franchise, so I do not know. I was not a fan of Housewives of New York, so I don't know how Jason did Bethany, but mm, he must have took her to the cleaners, honey. All right, so someone else says, good thing she did that prenup. Somebody else says, ugh, Mama Joyce, weird bleep. One, I wanted them to work so bad. I did too. I really wanted them to work this situation out. Someone else says, hopefully it doesn't get finalized and they work through whatever is going on. Someone else says, I already hate how Mama Joyce is about to gloat over this. Honestly, I was thinking the same thing. I bet you she all up in Katie's face. I told you, I told you, I told you. She just gives off petty to me. Mama Joyce is toxic. I'm sorry. Don't come for me. Argue with your mammy. She just give me toxic a little bit. And somebody else says Atlanta and Potomac are delivering more outside their shows than on air. My God, today. Boy, they got drama left and right. That's so true. Someone else says, yeah, I hate this. I hate this because of her ASS, talking about Mama Joyce. Somebody else says, imagine her reaction. The news, I can picture her jumping up in joy, laugh out loud. Someone says she's not weird. She's wise and seasoned. She could see right through Todd. Someone else says, yes, I hate this. I love them together. And then someone else says, oh, she's at least 1/3 of the problem for sure. I think so too. All right. And then somebody brought up something so super important that I didn't think about until now. The kids. Someone says, I hope this does not affect Riley and Kayla's relationship. They are finally close, and Riley considers Kayla her sister. Now, this one really touched me on a deep level because it did take Riley and Kayla a while to finally get close and connect with each other. And I do hope that Riley and Kayla will not allow this to affect what they have built. And I hope that they are continued to build upon what they have, built, especially since the younger siblings, Ace and Blaze, Ace and Blaze are really the ones that, solidify everything and bring everybody together, because Kayla is Todd's daughter from someone else. And of course, Riley is Candy's daughter from someone else. But Todd and Candy have Ace and Blaze together. So, that does help, bring everyone together. So Riley and Kayla can still consider each other sisters, most definitely. And I, even though Candy says, that she wants to co-parent, in a healthy way, and all that good stuff, the kids are, they're still going to be affected by this because, they're used to their mom and dad being in the same household, so now you have to, go back and forth between mommy and daddy's house, and the kids are going to have questions, so it is going to have an effect on them to a degree. Um, yeah, someone says, I know this may sound naive, but I really wanted them to stay together. I did too. I really did. This is something that was totally and completely unexpected. Once again, we do not know the ins and outs of, their marriage. We don't live with them. We're not behind closed doors to see, what goes on. And there are like a number of, speculations going around as to why um, they are divorced, which right now is just speculations because we're all on the outside looking in. I did see a little post though, on Messy Sweet Spot, if I can find it real fast. She was saying that I said Messy Speak. Messy Sweet Spot was saying that Todd had 30 days to move out of Candy's house because Todd's name wasn't even on the property. And I was thinking to myself, wow, 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 wow. Like, what? Child. Okay, so I'm not gonna add the Messy Sweet Spots post in here, but it just showed up on my phone and I was like, dang, he got 30 days to move out. Like, what really happened? But at the end of the day, that is their marriage. That is something that's personal. But they are celebrities and they're public figures. So of course people are gonna talk about it. And like I said, we're just speculators. We're just on the outside looking in. But like I said, what is the lesson from this, ladies? What can we take away from this? What is the lesson from this? Um, I have several things in my mind that I feel like we could take away from this. One is, your marriage is sacred. That's one. Yes, people can do what they want to do, but sometimes when you go against something that is, sacred and something that is spiritual, sometimes you can set yourself up for disaster. Another lesson could be don't let your mother and other people interfere and, have so many opinions in regards to, your relationship and who you're with and what you got going on. That can also add to the downfall of it as well. And also, um, there's this TikTok video that I saw where this man was saying that when you allow a third party into your bedroom, you're basically giving your partner permission to go out and sleep with people. So when that person actually takes advantage of that, I mean, should you really be feeling some type of way about it after you allowed a third party to come into your bedroom? I mean, do you really have a valid reason to be upset? Okay, that's a big one. But yeah, drop down in the comments and tell me what y'all think about this situation. Did this shock you? Were you surprised? Are you hoping that they can work out their differences and get back together? What lessons do you think can be taken away from this situation with Candy and Todd, y'all? Well, if you have stayed with me this far, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Please be sure to like